Suffering from chronic migraine means technically having more than half the month taken up with headaches and migraine. But when you consider that every migraine attack lasts on average about 3 days, the migraine is going on continuously. I've been suffering from migraines off and on since I was a child, and they've become progressively worse. They started in my teenage years, early teens, and then in my 30s became responsive to hormones. So I would regularly have 2 a month. Then they escalated, and then they became chronic. That is going on all the time. And I struggled on through this for years, thinking I was being a wimp or that I wasn't having a good work-life balance. And then one month when I had 26 in one go, I just couldn't carry on anymore. I experienced one migraine that lasted 6 weeks over the summer. And though I consider myself a very resilient person, I'm afraid that I started to think about how I would commit suicide, which is an unusual thing for me. And I do know that other people can suffer migraines that are constant for years. So it's difficult to imagine what people go through. I've got a very long-suffering husband, and it's the terrible thing for a partner or a member of the family to see somebody suffering so much without knowing what to do to help. And in fact, the sufferer doesn't know what to do because you don't know the triggers, which could be food, light, fluorescent lighting, for example. There are as many triggers as migraine sufferers. You blame yourself. The patient blames his or herself, often I do, for having had an attack, whereas what you have is a genetic brain disorder. That means you have a hyperexcitable brain. My husband knew that I was ill for years before I did. And now that I'm getting the help that I need, he can see that I'm coming back to my old self. Working in the creative industries, I was a television producer for a while, and since 2002 I've been a full-time writer. I also teach regularly in America. I broadcast and so on and so forth. Running a freelance career is tough enough as it is, but combined with migraine, it's like being punched in the face every couple of days as well. So I'm extremely driven and conscientious about my work. So what disappeared was, first of all, fun, socializing. I hadn't been out to see my friends, it seems, for years. Exercise, you're too ill to exercise, even though I love exercising and swimming. And this is baffling because you keep on trying to motivate yourself to do these things. And it's a tremendous relief when you are diagnosed with serious chronic migraine that you haven't been a wimp, and that actually you were physically incapable of doing these things. So now I'm considerably kinder on myself, rather than believing it was my own poor lifestyle choices that was making me ill. I now know that's not true. What's shocking to me is going around my business and is to realise how many people suffer from it. I mean, it is a vast proportion of the population who are going through needless suffering and all the lost productivity that's associated with that, and also the effect on other members of the family. So you're spreading the misery around even though you don't want to. What's needed is some basic education, public health education, and for people to know what to do self-help wise, which is easy to do. Well, not always easy to do, but it's easy to know what to do to help yourself. That is really important, educating yourself in the condition so that you can function better and be as well as you possibly can be, even before you go on to the advanced treatments. The one thing I would like to say to people who are just finding out about migraine, whether that be episodic or chronic migraine, I'd say don't give up hope. There are treatments that can help you to help the quality of your life, and it's a very good time to have migraine in the sense that there are new drugs and treatments coming in the pipeline. So I feel hopeful, even though it's a miserable condition, but don't give up hope. In a funny way, this COVID-19 lockdown is no news to me at all, because since I was unable to work because of chronic migraine, I've been in lockdown anyway. It's just that the rest of the world has joined me in lockdown. Unable to see my friends and family. Going to the shop is a problem. The uncertainty and fear and financial insecurity that so many people are experiencing, that's part of suffering from a severe chronic condition. The only good thing is that I'm more practiced at it than most people. So, this is I've been able to say in a way, welcome to my life, to flippantly to people. Of course, in other ways, it's not like lockdown at all. This is an extraordinary circumstance, but there's elements that you can use to compare it with being ill with a chronic migraine.